Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be doing an election prediction between Governor Ron DeSantis and Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg. Before I begin, I wanted to thank everybody for reaching 550 subscribers for the YouTube channel. We are now on to 600 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who subscribed. And if you've not subscribed, please consider and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also, as I like to state before my predictions, I judge the predictions based off of the current state of the country. We are headed into a red wave climate, into a red wave election. It does seem like it will be a red wave, so that will, have an effect on this election prediction. I obviously can't assume what things will be like a few years from now, but at the moment, it will be based off of that, as I do in all of my predictions. So, Pete Buttigieg, safe states. I do think he would perform pretty well on the West Coast. That is definitely an area that helps him. He also does good in the Northeast. He did well in the New Hampshire primaries. And I do think he has a northeastern appeal. I'll give him the state of Delaware, whatnot, all likely margins. I'll leave Connecticut and New Jersey. Safe margins for the likely margins for Connecticut and New Jersey. Those states, I think, you could see narrow up a little bit, especially at this point in time, where we saw that New Jersey governor race, fall within 4 points. Eric Senatorial almost beat Phil Murphy, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. So that puts it at 160 to 125. Likely Buttigieg races would be, of course, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Colorado. We know Colorado has been significantly shifting to the left. A lot of people, a lot of Democrats in particular that are leaving New York and California, moved to Colorado, and then most of the Republicans moved to Texas, Florida, maybe a little bit of Arizona and New Mexico. I guess in Nevada as well, but really those southern areas. So anyway, Colorado, we've seen shift to the left. Also, Virginia has shifted to the left. You've seen, however, that bounce back with Youngkin. We'll see how that affects the 2022 midterms, but nonetheless, you see what's happening there as well. Likely Republican states, of course, these will be the usual likely states. That's Iowa, Ohio, Texas, Florida, and Maine's 2nd Congressional District, getting them to 219 electoral votes. Iowa, Ohio. DeSantis does have that populist-esque appeal, and I do think he would perform well in those rural areas. Buttigieg just does not. I don't think he will perform well. And of course, DeSantis popular in Florida, up double digits against many of his opponents, and has a good Hispanic appeal. But anyway, 219 electoral votes for Ron DeSantis, lean Buttigieg races. This would now include New Mexico, Virginia, Maine at large, New Hampshire. I think he would be able to win there by a lean margin. As I said, he's pretty popular up in the Northeast. And the state of Minnesota. But that is it for Pete Buttigieg leaning states. The Secretary of Transportation, you can tout the infrastructure bill that did affect people in Minnesota. I guess it affected everybody, but those are areas that have more issues with infrastructure, and especially in the Rust Belt. And he, of course, can tout that. So he may perform a little bit better in the Rust Belt, but overall, DeSantis will still do well there. Lean DeSantis races. This would be North Carolina. I think that Georgia would also be a lean DeSantis race. Buttigieg will not be not at all really be popular among black communities. He's going to have a very serious issue getting that black vote out, similar to Obama, Hillary, Biden numbers. Black people in general, or the black communities, wouldn't come out for somebody like Pete Buttigieg. He doesn't have the charisma. He also, of course, he's gay, and that doesn't really bode well in those communities. You have to understand the culture over there, and that does not affect. Same with Hispanics. So I do think that DeSantis would manage to win Georgia by a lean margin. He'd also manage to win Nevada and Arizona by lean margins, as well as the state of Wisconsin, getting him to 278 electoral votes. So what I really had to say was that Hispanics and black people, and African Americans, whatever, they would come out. They would just not come out in higher margins for Buttigieg because of all of that. Because and they have much more traditional views of society, of sex, and whatnot. And you just won't see that turnout that you saw for other people. I think that Buttigieg would manage to be able to tilt Michigan, but I think that DeSantis would be able to tilt Pennsylvania and Nebraska second, getting him to 298 electoral votes. I did not mean to do that. Defeating Pete Buttigieg, what the heck? And going on to win the 2024 presidential election in a pretty close election, all things considered, but a victory nonetheless. And of course, considering the polarization of the country at the moment, any victory is a good victory. 298 to 240. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Comment below your thoughts on the predictions, what you would keep the same, what you would change. Like the video, and stay tuned. See you all soon.